Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up, my G.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Hello, everybody. Hey, what's going on? What's good? This is your boy, Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, rocking out another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, coming at you live over in the Asian Sensation Studios in the greater Washington DC Metropolitan Area. And I'm feeling good, guys. I'm in a good spot. I'm here in the home base, right here where the magic happens, if you will. Sitting down on the chair, got the mic in hand. Everything is here and ready to go. Hector is not going to be joining us, but he did leave a couple of notes and so forth, so I do appreciate the fact that, I'm getting some help here, getting some assistance, and this is good because, as always, this is a team effort. Teamwork does make the dream work, and you know what? I can't do this alone without great supportive people that are a part of my team. So, Hector, I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. We'll get up real soon, man. We really will. So, sorry that, we didn't catch each other, this time. But I'm sure that we will make something happen. It'll be a good thing, and I'm excited. So either way, I'm ready to go. This is it. This is one of the things I've always said time in and time out. When I actually make an episode here, I enjoy it. This is something that is my creative medium. This is something that I really enjoy, and I look forward to it because I'm just letting my imagination go. Letting the imagination work its flow. And, soon enough, it's like, okay, if I got those things going for me, then I know that I have to be ready. I have to put this on wax, if you will. So here we are. Now, today is going to be a real big doozy because it's going to be in a lot of segments. Most of it is going to be talking about acting in general, specifically speaking about an actor's time investment and things of that nature. And, other things in the acting world, including some news that I'm really excited to just, let all this information just, trickle down and just be right there served in your table. You know what I mean? Now, before we get into everything, there are, some things I do want to address real quick. First off, the first thing that I do want to address is that I want to give props to two people. I really want to give them their special recognition let me say it one more time. I want to give special recognition to two different people. One person that I know, personally because, I have met this person before. We have interacted before, and he's a real good dude, a real great dude. And the other person is a personality that I've recently met, through social media and so forth. So first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to my good friend and, a fellow podcaster, Mr. Brad Cox. Now, for those that don't know who he is, let me explain. Let me give you a little bit of the resume. Now, some people might know the name if you guys are living over in the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, and Northern Virginia area. Brad is a lead vocalist for a band called Schizocalypso, who I've, followed for many years. He is an author of the Children of the Program trilogy series, and he is a podcaster where he actually hosts a podcast called Mouthful of Graffiti. And it has been brought to my attention that Brad is celebrating because he's for now 3 years and 3 months he is celebrating sobriety, and that is amazing, absolutely amazing for someone to go through that challenge and giving up something as of just drinking and all that stuff. It gives me like all smiles and so forth. And I don't know what Brad's situation was, whether if he did it for health reasons or he just did it because of anything else. Maybe it was something personal, but he's been going on 3 years and 3 months strong of sobriety. And Brad, I gotta say, congratulations, my man. That is really huge. I know that was probably a huge challenge and it took a lot, but you maintained the course, you hit the goal, and you're still building on that goal. And, all I have to say is that, I'm very proud of you, man. I'm very happy for you. And, anything that I can do to kind of help, support that, I will. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I think that when people come to a certain point in life where they're good with that and they want to call it quits, and if it's going to be a, let's say, quote unquote, a habit that may potentially, be, dragging your health down than up, it's a good thing. You're prolonging yourself. And I got to give them a lot of love and a lot of respect. So, I mean, I can only imagine it's not an easy thing to do, but, strength comes from within, and Brad did it, you know what I mean? So, Brad, much love and respect to you, my man, and I hope that one day I get to be a guest on your podcast, Mouthful of Graffiti, because I've listened to it wherever, any podcasting platforms are, especially on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. I'm a huge fan of it, and I think that you're doing a great job, man. So keep it up, brother. You know what I mean? You're doing great things, and I got nothing but love and respect for you. The second is a young lady who I've met on TikTok, who is a TikTok personality from England, from Northeast England, over in I think it's County Durham is where she is from, and her name is Cara. And on TikTok, she's got quite the following. If you go over to her account, just_Cara, she has 12,200 followers, and she is an amazing person, a spitball of of positivity, who radiates the good vibes and good energy. And I got to give a lot of love and respect to her, because recently she actually participated in a fundraiser that TikTok was doing. Now let me explain what happens. In TikTok, when you actually host like a live stream or something like that, people actually have a chance to actually gift you some cool gifts that they spend their own money on by buying TikTok currency or coins. And for each gift, there's an X amount of coin cost. And people have bought like things like, invested in like roses or potatoes or a cowboy hat with a mustache. Yes, those are real things. But what she has done is that on her TikTok lives, she was actually participating in a fundraiser that's held by a BBC, and the actual name of the fundraiser is called BBC Children in Need, which helps out kids, underprivileged kids, and so forth for whatever reason. And she had set a thing where the gift that she wanted to have was a set of Pudsey Bear ears. Now, for those that actually had bought one and gifted her that, TikTok actually gave a $1 donation towards that cause and that organization, which cost about 200 TikTok coins. But if you just invested in like regular Pudsey Bears, and if you invested in 2 of them, then TikTok would have gave a 1 cent donation, which each bear cost about like 10 TikTok coins. I think it's amazing. You know, she did very well, where she actually raised about $159, which I think, if we're going by the present moment in time, by this recording, whenever this is actually being played, I think she probably raised a little more than that. And what she had promised was whatever that she had raised is the total that she is going to match. So if she had raised, let's say, $200 US, she would go ahead and match it. And it is an amazing thing. I think it's great. For those that are interested in this little fundraiser, you can go over to the website on bbcchildreninneed.co.uk for more information. All I have to say is, Cara, well done, my dear. Well done. You did a real cool thing, helping the young kids and the young children, and also at the same time just being a very beautiful soul by spreading a lot of love, joy, positive energy, and good vibes to people all over. And I think that is the attraction. I think that just people just want to be surrounded by good energy and good vibes and everything, and that's what you did. You have actually provided that. It's kind of like a safe haven for everybody, and that's why we have nothing but love and respect for you. So keep on doing the daggone thing, sweetheart, as we say in the U.S. You're doing it, and it's amazing, and we love you. We really do. So thank you for just being who you are and doing great things. All right, we're going to go ahead and get this underway. We're going to kick it off with round 1. This is something I've been meaning to talk about this subject for a while, this little thing that's been going on online. And when I heard about it, I was like, good Lord, man, are you serious? This situation is getting out of hand. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me drop in the specifics. Online, that is trending, there is a video of a woman that's going out on a date with a man, and it seemed like things were going great until she objected to where she was going, where their date led them to the Cheesecake Factory restaurant. Now, let me give you a little bit of some insight and some information and a little bit of background. This woman in question was going to go out on a date with this gentleman. They originally were expected to go to a real nice, high-end, fancy restaurant. I'm not even sure if it was like Michelin star rated, but supposedly it was supposed to be a restaurant that was of a higher quality and very upscale, more compared to the Cheesecake Factory. But because she ran an hour late and she took a long time to go ahead and get prepared, they weren't able to go into the restaurant, even though that they had reservations. But because that she was running late, and she basically lost that reservation because of her lateness. The guy in question wanted to have like a plan B, and he thought, to himself, well, I cannot just go ahead and just not take her out somewhere. I want to at least take her somewhere to dinner, somewhere nice. So she went over to the he went over to the Cheesecake Factory to take her out there. And what really got me was the fact that this woman was really, really, copping an attitude. You know what I mean? She had commented specifically that she said that this is the Cheesecake Factory. This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone who looks like me, who looks like this beautiful thing, to a chain restaurant. I know that she had expressed that, she expected for all of her dates to go out on the first date. Taking her to, like, once again, rolling out the red carpet, taking her to a real fancy restaurant, maybe a Michelin 3-star restaurant, and spending beaucoup money on her. Let me tell you something, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw my opinions out on here. Number one, I don't agree with her when she said, that it is to be expected to go out all out on the first date. Meaning, I want this type of, setting. I want this. I want that. I want, a real good, fancy schmancy, bougie restaurant that, I want the champagne to cost $500. I want the appetizers to cost $175 or something like that. No. You haven't even gotten that far yet. This is the first date. The first date, and you want that? No, we're not. I'm not going for that, dude. Never that. That already is asking for too much. Second of all, if we're talking about the Cheesecake Factory, let me tell you something. That is a real good chain restaurant. It really is. It is a very great upscale chain restaurant for sure. Now, it ain't, a James Beard Award-winning restaurant, but it's not bad. It's better than, taking your date to go over to TGI Fridays or Chili's or other, chain restaurants out there in the world, like Applebee's or whatever. Because let me tell you something, I love me a Cheesecake Factory. You can believe that. Everything that they got is on point. All the desserts are on point. I love every style of cheesecake that they have in their restaurant. All the flavors and all the varieties they got. Awesome. Appetizers, awesome. The entrees, awesome. My favorite entree is actually the miso covered salmon. Oh, that salmon that's, I guess it's broiled. And it's with a miso sauce that's covered all over on the salmon, with toasted sesames, on a bed of white rice that's sitting on a miso buttered sauce that's also has a spicy element, surrounded with some green snap peas all around, in a circular kind of thing for presentation and crunchy texture. Oh my God, that's amazing. And let me tell you something. I like the Cheesecake Factory to a point where, if you had asked me to go out on a first date, if a woman asked me out and she said, we're going to the Cheesecake Factory, I would say, what time, which Cheesecake Factory, what do you want me to wear, what time do you want to pick me up, or do you want me to meet you over there? I would have no problem going to the Cheesecake Factory. But this entitled woman, coming in there all bougie and everything, acting like misentitled. I'm gonna use the term here that this Karen thought, the Cheesecake Factory is so foul. It's so it is such a sin to take me to the Cheesecake Factory. Girl, you don't know a good thing if it actually landed on your face. Because let me tell you something. The man did everything right. He was being gentlemanly. He was being cordial. He addressed the fact that you had an issue, and, he was willing to talk about it. Even though you treated him like garbage and spoke to him like he was a low-class citizen, he actually dealt with your behavior and your shenanigans to the best of his ability with class. And most importantly, that he did that with maturity. And you just ragged on him. Now let me tell you this. I will give you this. When you said that, a woman like this, I'll give it to you. You are a very attractive woman. You are. You are an attractive woman. But you know what? Looks alone can only get you far. It's your attitude. And when you have a rotten attitude, that's a turnoff. I don't care who you are. Gentlemen, let me tell you right now, if a woman that you're going out on a date with is treating you very bad and disrespecting you bad and treating you like a second-class citizen from a third world country, it is time to go. Like, for real. Like, why would you even want to deal with that? Because dealing with those kind of women on that kind of a setting of a date, that woman in question is going to find herself in a very bad position. She might find herself just being alone forever. And she'll continue on being alone unless she finds out that she's wrong and she fixed the error of her ways. You know what I mean? Be grateful. You know what I mean? If you're going out with the person and you're having a good time on a first date, the purpose of the first date is just to see where you guys stand. It just goes to see, how it's going to be like, the feeling out process. Is there some compatibility? Can I have a good time with the person? It should not be defined on your financial situation. And it definitely shouldn't be defined by, where you take me to go out to eat. You know what I mean? Like a restaurant that I mentioned prior. I could probably take a person out to the TGI Fridays and still have a good time. But if I want to go out on the first date, quote unquote, I'm not going to take her somewhere like, something expensive like, like a chart house. I would not take her out to, let's say, a restaurant that's owned by, James Beard award-winning chefs like Bobby Flay or Ming Tsai or Masaharu Morimoto. I think it's a little bit too soon for that. If something happens where, the chemistry is building and it's brewing and there's really good development, yeah, I can definitely say we see where we're going with this, and it's a good thing, for sure. But you know what? Be grateful for the situation. Be grateful that you have companionship, and be grateful that there's, at least ladies, be grateful that a gentleman, a man who's being a gentleman, is going out of his way to do the very best he can to provide a good time. That's all I'm saying. If it doesn't work out, don't be rude about it. Just keep it rolling. Just keep the whole momentum of the date going. Keep it rolling till it reaches the end of its course. And, if it so happens where, he asks for another opportunity for another date and you feel like he's not worthy, then you can just say, I don't think it's going to work out. And just be nice and go about it. But please, don't act entitled like, you deserve to go over to the finest restaurant just to go ahead and get like some kind of entree that has shaved white truffles and it's going to be costing you about $575.99. No, to hell with that. No, not at all. Not a one. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying, you have to be all cheap. But if you watch your finances, and if, let's say, for example, like the date is like hey, I'm going to take you out to my favorite diner, and let's hang out, let's get some food and some coffee or something like that. I think that as long as she likes you and enjoys your company, then everything else doesn't matter. Everything else will be overlooked. That's all. We're going to take a little bit of a break here. We're going to come right back, and we're going to get into more of a little bit of acting. So I can't wait to talk about that subject. So stick around. More on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, and we will come right back. Looking for a new age training facility that takes the boring out of the gym, providing next level functional training that can get you your results faster than ever? Then the answer is Kicked Up Fitness over at National Business Parkway, where they offer kickboxing, boxing, and fitness programs to the Annapolis Junction, Maryland area. What's their mission? Their mission is to provide the ultimate functional training facility that focuses solely on your success. With their diverse team that is highly qualified and dedicated to taking your fitness goals to the next level. They offer a variety of group classes and personal training programs that provide something for everyone regardless of your fitness level. They believe in working hard and achieving results, all while having fun. Sounds too good to be true? You should go ahead and give them a call. You should give them a visit. Check them out over at 114 National Business Parkway, Suite 100 in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, 20701. Give them a buzz at 410-888-9066. Their website, www.kufitnessnbp.com, or go ahead and email them at kufitnessnbp@gmail.com. And let me give you one quick piece of advice. If you talk to the owner, my good friend Sean Queen, tell him that Benny Chow sent you, and he actually might hook you up with a free pass. Maybe 1 day, maybe 2 days. Hey, whatever it is, it's a free complimentary trial. You can't beat that. So remember, success, never given, only earned. Kicked Up Fitness over at National Business Parkway.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. It's your boy back in the saddle again. I'm sitting on my favorite chair in the Asian Sensation Studios, just kicking it, you know what I mean? And I'm loving it. It's good to be here. It's good to have my creativity and the juices flowing. And this is good. This is exactly where your boy needs to be, no doubt, no doubt. So we took a little break. It was good. Now we're back for the second installment. This time I really want to jump into acting. And this one is a little bit interesting because, I do want to touch on the subject matter of, time investment for actors. Now, it's exactly what you think it means for those that don't understand. Time investment for actors is, when, they actually invest their time into something in hopes that something good will come out of the deal, you know what I mean? And for those that still don't understand, let me put it to you in ways that you can kind of understand. When you invest in something, you spend money, right? You spend money to get whatever it is that you want, that you're investing in. Whether if it's, a car or a house or, maybe you're, spending your money on things to survive like food and clothes, things of that nature, right? Well, in this case, money is time, to an actor. So therefore, time must be invested in something that we want and that we're comfortable with. Now, in that area, what we're comfortable with has to be dealing with a lot of things that go into acting and what we want to do. For example, and let me repeat this again, if time must be invested in something that I'm comfortable with, then there's a lot of factors, i.e., what kind of genre of film that I'm going to be acting in. Is it going to be horror? Is it going to be action? Is it going to be drama? Is it going to be something historic? Let's say, for example, for an actor like me, of course, I'll act in anything. But I do like action a lot because I do like fighting scenes and stunts and so forth. I do like horror because I was raised on liking horror films. Like I liked Nightmare on Elm Street and, Friday the 13th. Halloween, monster movies like The Lost Boys and Howling and stuff like that. Also, we have to think into consideration like what kind of roles are out there. What would I be auditioning for? I definitely am a person that likes to go for the lead role, obviously, because that's the role that you want to get where it has a lot of exposure for you. But supporting roles are good too. You know what I mean? Do I want that? Or do I want something a little bit less? Other, factors that I have to be comfortable with if I'm going to invest my time into acting is, the potential cast and crew that I'm going to be working with. There might be some actors that I would love to work with and how I have a very good relationship outside of that world. Maybe there might be some cast members that maybe I'm not so cool with, that I just kind of bump heads with. Same thing with the crew. There might be some crew members that I'm very cool with and I vibe with very well. There might be some other people that in the crew, in the world of acting that, again, we're bumping heads, we're bumping uglies. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. Another thing that, that I have to think about when I'm investing my time are contractual agreements. Now, the type of contractual agreements are like, an actor's contract, which usually is a non-disclosure agreement, talking about like maybe the name of the actual project, the pay, the hours that are involved, et cetera, et cetera. Then you got your model release where, the production is allowed to use your appearance and likeness and so forth. And then there's like the blanketed contracts that are general agreements without little to no detail. And there are some people that, when it comes to, the contractual agreement, there are some people that might be okay with it. There are some people that may not be okay with it. There are some people that may question certain, conditions and phrases and things that the contract is actually offering and providing. Some may not. Either way, you have to be able to decipher what project or what thing is good for you. Also, one thing that I forgot to mention is that if you audition for a project, let's just say, and let's say you didn't make it, do you feel like that was a waste of your time? To some people, like myself, I don't think it's a waste. I think it's great. I think it's just another opportunity just to go ahead and audition. And it gives me that confidence every single time that I audition that, hey, something to work on. But I'm glad that I got myself out there. There might be some people that might audition and get it, but they may not get the type of role that they want. And they might think it's a waste. In that case, it's like you really have to, I guess for a lack of a better term, kind of like, pick and choose your battles in this arena. That's the most important thing that one has to consider. And the reason why I'm talking about, time investment for an actor and so forth is something that happened to a friend of mine recently. And something that happened to me, which happened way back in the day. And I'll explain that situation right now. Because I have a friend of mine who lives out of state. Now, I'm not going to give the name of this person. I'm not going to give away his identity. But, when we talked about this situation, I was kind of shocked. Because I found out that there was a project that he was involved in. And when he got casted, he was really excited. But recently he got pulled off the project because he got removed. I was told from, this friend of mine who's the actor that, they took away his information on the website. He's no longer part of the cast. All the pictures of him acting in certain scenes were eliminated. And it was crazy, Now, when I asked him about it, first off, I want to preface by saying that I made sure that it was okay for me to actually, talk about this. I asked him, is it all right to spread the story about what happened to you? And he was okay with it. On the guidelines, like I said in the beginning, that I would not give out the name of his identity. I wouldn't let people know who he is. So that's where we're at. Going with it right now, currently at this moment, I will say this. When I heard about this situation, and when I heard him tell me that, he was no longer in there, the first question I had was like, did you put yourself in any danger or did anything to have the whole production and the casting, members, that actually make the decision of who gets casted or not? Those officers, did you do anything that would make them think that you should be removed? And he told me flat out no. He was very professional. He did exactly what he was told by, the director and the producers, that, whatever that they wanted out of him, whatever they told him to do, he complied. He didn't challenge it. He was very professional and he was very polite to every cast member. He did not make any cast member feel unwelcome or uncomfortable. He did not use any terminology that might have been offensive. He always showed up on time. If not on time, he was definitely early. And I do remember that because he kept on telling me that. And, the one thing I have to say about my friend is that, I've known him for a little while. Him and I are good friends and we really support each other because we both want to see each other succeed in the world of acting, because we both want to see each other make it. I have also known him for the fact that, it goes in deep. And everything that he's always told me in life, he had never lied to me. He's always very honest with me, very, forthcoming, always, keeping it 100. And I got to tell you, when he told me that, when he said, no, I didn't do anything wrong, I have to be honest with you, I believed him. I really did. And I told him a story about something similar that happened to me. See, years ago, it was right after I filmed Roulette, which was an award-winning movie in the local scene. And I think it was around 2012, if I remember correctly. There was a movie that was going to be filmed locally where, it was going to be, as we were told, going to be like the greatest production and greatest movie being filmed in this local area that the industry and the world has ever seen. And there was like a lot of buzz going around on social media, within the local acting industry. Anybody who was anybody in the world of acting knew about it and talked about it. And I'm being dead serious. Like, this thing had a lot of buzz. So when you have information about this upcoming project and you hear so much about it, at that point you feel like, wow, this, I got to go for it, because it sounds like it's a real good thing. So I met up with the director, and I'm not going to give that person's name out, but it was going to be his first film that he ever directed. And already the lead actress was his girlfriend. Now, at first I didn't really think too much of it. I was probably thinking that, well, maybe he just felt like, there was, or maybe I felt like there was something that the director did where he actually wrote, a perfect part for her, and it so happened to be the lead actress role. So I went in along with many other local actors, and we all just went for it. We auditioned, we did our part, we filled out, all the information that we needed to fill out, just so that we could have our chance at something really good. Next thing you know, after I did my audition, I get a call back. And the director said, "Hey, brother, you did really well. We really were impressed. And you know what? We would like for you to go ahead and to have a call back and see how well you do." So I was really feeling good about myself. I was like, all right, no problem. Yeah, let's go for it. So I did. And next thing you know, maybe like a few days later, I get a phone call. And basically it was the director congratulating me and saying, "Hey, you got a good role and we want to actually hire you. We want to cast you in our movie. Your role is going to be a police detective. Now this one is a good supporting role, but we think this is the role for you and we want you to be in it." You got to understand, I was feeling really excited because at that point, that was probably going to be, at that time, one of the greatest roles that I ever landed, because it was a real big deal. You know what I mean? I was really excited. You have to understand, I was probably new to the game once again. I was a little bit green, but, to actually hear that I'm getting a supporting role, in this type of, in this type of movie, in this type of position, I was really, really excited. I was really excited and looking forward to it. And what even kind of like got me more excited at the time was we were all told at that time there was going to be an A-list actor that was going to be a part of this production. And believe it or not, it was going to be Ron Perlman. Now, if you don't know Ron Perlman, he's a very, very, distinguished actor. Back in the 1980s to 1990s, he was in the CBS TV show Beauty and the Beast. He was also in such movies as Hellboy and Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. Let me see, he was also in, if I remember correctly, he was in Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I remember that. I also remember that he was in Blade 2. And if I also remember, most recently, he was in the movie or TV show or something called The Baker back in 2022. It was like an action movie or something like that. Well, when I heard about that, I felt like, wow, this was going to be amazing. And there was a lot of talk about, when's Ron Perlman showing up? When is he going to do this? When he's going to do that? And I remember just getting ready because the director said that I needed to really get in gear and get ready because there were some things he saw in my acting that he felt like I could just improve a little bit better. So he had suggested, which I did, which was to work with a couple of actors that shared my scene. And I was like, okay. And I worked out with them. I rehearsed with them. They even thought that I did pretty well. And they were like, yeah, I think you're going to be fine. You're going to be good. So I was ready to go. I was like, all right, we going to do it. We going to really make this happen. The first time that I was about to go ahead and film my very first scene, I was running a little bit late. The day before, I was hanging out with some relatives that came in from out of town. And, I woke up a little bit late, and I was really trucking hard, to drive about like an hour and a little bit of change to get over to set somewhere near Baltimore. And when I arrived there about like 5 minutes late. Now, the rule is that you're not supposed to be late at all. If you're late, that's really bad, and you're kind of making everybody wait on you, and, it really throws the schedule off a little bit. However, there have been certain sets, though, that I've heard and actually seen and witnessed that, well, if you were 5 minutes late, they're not really going to do anything to you. They're not going to really, rip you a new one. So I was just kind of hoping, in the sense that things would have been okay. I mean, I definitely got chewed out, and rightfully so. But I didn't think that was the worst thing that could have happened. But, we just went on as professionals. We filmed on that day. And, that was that. A few days later, I get a call from one of the producers. And he had told me that I got removed from the project. And that they gave my role to somebody else. And that, at this point, it's going to be like I never even was involved in the project in the first place. And I come to find out that, number one, they gave my role to the producer that called me. And I was like, wow, that's kind of a slap in the face. And, I really talked to my friends about it, and I was really, really distraught. Like, I was in a state of, like, I got depressed. Because, for the first time in a while, at that time, I felt like I really hit the big time, and I felt like I hit like the $1 million lottery, to be involved in that project and what I was going to do. I felt like, man, this is going to be good, and now this opportunity was taken away, was given to somebody else. Like, somebody pulled the rug underneath my feet, and I fell hard. And, I just thought about it. Other than, being late for 5 minutes, I couldn't really think of why they would even want to, remove me, or if I did anything wrong. Even my friends that I told about this situation also said, you know what, we can't think of anything that you did wrong here, besides being 5 minutes tardy. But other than that, though, we see no harm. And I come to find out that this particular project, unfortunately, for many people that were, waiting on the opportunity, Ron Perlman did not act in this project. That's what happened. He ended up not acting in this project. And for some weird reason, this project won a couple of local movie awards, for Best Actress and, and I think it was like Best Director and Best Movie or something like that. Which, number one, I saw the movie. And, I thought it was all right. I didn't really think it was like, really like something to write home about. And the woman that won Best Actress, I was like, you got to be kidding me. You did okay, but again, that's not a role to sneeze at. Like, wasn't the greatest thing that I've seen. I mean, if you want me to be honest, I've seen better acting by my friend Ali Lukowski, who actually was in, she was actually in Roulette as Sunny Howard. And if you ever seen Roulette and that role that she did and how she portrayed it, that was a lot that was going on with that role. That was a hard role. The difficulty of that role, I never wished it upon anybody, but my friend Allie aced it. And she really made a believer out of you. And some people actually cried because of the nature of her character and the level of difficulty of the character that she portrayed and how well that she did it. This person, I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't see the attraction. I really didn't. I didn't see why she got Best Actress. It's whatever. Last time I heard of those two, supposedly, in theory, they had moved away over to the West Coast. And they, were trying to do their thing and making it big and so forth. But that's not the case. Sources told me, and I have it on good authority, that those two are still around in the state of Maryland. Matter of fact, recently they were spotted at a horror film convention. I think the name of the event is called Monster Mania, and it was over in the Baltimore, Maryland area. But if you want to be real technical, it was over at Hunt Valley, Maryland. Somebody recognized them, was walking in front of them. He somehow took the pictures of them from behind from his shoulder, with them being behind him. And, I got to be honest with you. I was like, wow. All that talk, and you're still here. That's amazing. And the fact that, you have the audacity to still wanting to work with people. Guess what? That's not happening. Not at all. Every actor locally in the DMV knows now about their reputation. And not one person would ever want to work with their asses ever again. Because they know the type of trouble that they bring. They know the type of BS that they put out there on the tables. It's not good. It's not a good fit. And I got to tell you, once you actually crossed lines and burned bridges, that's it for you. Nobody's ever want to work with you. They already know like the bad juju that you're bringing. It goes to a point that if I ever saw them in the street and they got mugged and they were in trouble, you better believe I'm not going to be helping their asses. Oh no. I'm going to be sitting around the corner, just pretending that I don't know them, and I'm just going to keep watching. I'm going to keep watching. One person actually had asked, knowing that you went through all that, would you ever forgive them? No, I really wouldn't. I wouldn't forget it, and I wouldn't forgive them. The hurt that they put on me, and the so much pain and agony that I went through, it's just too much. It's too deep. I just don't feel like they deserve my forgiveness, especially what they put me through. All I have to say is that, I don't want to work with them ever again. I don't care if it's another project that they created, or if it's a project that they're involved in with other actors and other producers and production teams. It's not going to be me. You're not going to pick this guy. I'm not the one. All I got to say is, if you see me, keep on walking. Because, I want nothing to do with you. I'm done with you. I think it's just unfortunate that I had to go through that. And, I just say this. I don't want anybody to go through what I went through. If you're not sure about certain people and what they do, I would say do the research. Find out what's going on. See what they're all about. Search them online. Make sure that you get a track record. But all I know is this. You screwed the pooch, fellas. To that guy and that girl, I'm just going to throw my magic dust on you and say alakazam. Hope that you disappear from my life forever. Because I'm done. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be near you. I don't even want to smell you. It's kind of sad that, I'm saying this after all this time. But, it kind of feels good to really express this. And I just hope that, once again, to all those actors out there, that you don't get that same hurt that I got. Auditioning for a role, being in a project, and you got that role, and you got a very good role. Something that's lengthy. Maybe like something close to a lead, but that's okay. You deserve better than that. And I'm rooting for y'all. And I'll tell you this. I will never in my life have my time wasted because I invested too much in myself, too much in my abilities, and too much in my brand for somebody to put me in that position and then take it away. Because I'm telling you right now, the next time that happens, well, let's just say there won't be a next time. I guarantee you that. We're going to go ahead and take time, and we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back with a great announcement and some closing thoughts. Stay tuned. If you're looking for an art store that has all the goods, then look no further than Plaza Artist Materials and Picture Framing. Why? Because they want to help you find great art supplies so that you can make the art that you love. They offer a huge selection of fine art materials, creative gifts, and custom framing services. They also provide a full range of workshops, classes, and demos in their store locations so artists can connect with each other and try new mediums. So look no further than Plaza Artist Materials and Picture Framing. For more information about locations and what they have to offer, go to plazaart.com. That's PLAZAART.com. Plaza Artist Materials and Picture Framing.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Still here chilling over in the Asian Sensation Studios, and I gotta tell you, this episode has been a good one. It really has been. You know, we went from giving recognition to two awesome individuals. We went about talking about a Karen who did not like having a Cheesecake Factory as a dinner option or any kind of option when it comes to taking her out on the date, on the first date. And again, I'm still tripping over that, but hey, it is what it is. I'm talking about, you know, an actor's, investment in time, and just also talking about a little bit about my experiences in that department. So now we're going to end it on a very good note, on a very positive note, and I'm very glad to really talk about this one, because it was about Miscalculated. And, you know, let me just take it back to, you know, a little bit. Let me just drag it back a little bit, like, you know, from the genesis. Now, as you guys know, because I've mentioned about Miscalculated, about this movie, this film that I was in, for God knows, I don't know how many episodes in how many seasons, but I've mentioned about it. I've mentioned my involvement where, you know, I was part of the cast as an actor, and also as an assistant fight choreographer. And, you know, at the time of working at this project, I was very happy and proud to be a part of it because of what I had to offer and what I put on the tables. And the fact that we worked to a point where we actually had, back in April, a premiere of Miscalculated over at the old Greenbelt Theater in Greenbelt, Maryland. Some of y'all know it as the Greenbelt Cinema. But we had a premiere of Miscalculated. We had 2 showings. And then since that time, a lot of people have been wondering, you know, Kim, when are we ever going to see it? You know, do we get a second chance to see it? What's going on? You know, is there anything happening? Will it get a streaming deal where we can see it online? Or will there be a chance where we'll be able to buy it or rent it or any of that stuff? Well, I have the answers, and here it is. I'm happy to announce that Miscalculated is available to watch on streaming services of Tubi Television, Reveal, which is spelled Reveel, and Discovered. You may now also rent and or buy the movie digitally on Amazon Prime Video. Yes. So if you want to rent the movie on standard definition SD, it's 99 cents to rent. In high definition, it is $1.99 to rent. If you plan to buy it, if you want to own it, to own the standard definition version is $2.99, and to own the HD version, the high definition version, to buy it will cost you $4.99. This is really amazing, and it's awesome because, you know, for a while, you know, we've been talking about this project, and by we, I mean myself, a few other fellow actors who are my castmates, a lot of cast and so forth. There was a lot of involvement in this in terms of about talking about it and generating brand awareness when it comes to this. And a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions. They were wondering for a long time. And, you know, now that we actually have this, in this capacity, this movie to be seen on a digital platform of Tubi Television and Reveal and Discovered, or having ownership of it by, you know, investing in the digitized movie of, Miscalculated by buying it on Amazon Prime, you know, for either $2.99 for the standard and, you know, $4.99 for the high def. It is amazing and it is great. You know, as an actor, I'm very proud of, you know, what's happening at this very moment in time. Number one, because, a lot of people were asking those questions, and I wanted to have the right answer for them to actually, kind of lay their questions and concerns to rest. But most importantly, I wanted to actually provide options for people to actually see it. When I found out weeks ago that it was going to be on Tubi television, it was amazing. And I did see it. And it was great just to see not only myself, but other castmates and crew members involved doing their thing on the screen and just reminiscing about what had happened at that particular moment of the film, and et cetera, et cetera. And it brings me back, man. It's all in the feels. I love it. And the only thing I have to say is I am very proud of everybody, to all my castmates, to all the crew members involved, to Ramel Xavier Morales, who was not only the one of the lead actors, but the director. I'm proud of him for a job well done for what he did with his acting and how he controlled the whole thing, and making sure everything was going very smoothly from A to Z. To Dameron Kirby, another lead actor, and who was also the fight choreographer and the stunt coordinator. I'm proud of him and his efforts. I'm proud of the executive producers of Sean Queen and Nabil Malik, who did a great job with their acting. Really made it convincing that they were a bunch of real bad guys that were dangerous, and they were really out for, what they needed to get and so forth. It was just great. And I want to thank everybody. I really want to thank with, those four gentlemen for giving me an opportunity to do my very best and to show everybody, what my passion is, which is acting, and, how I put it out there. If it wasn't for y'all gentlemen, this opportunity would never have happened. To all my castmates and all the crew members, y'all did great. We all put our energies together and our efforts together to make a great film that, is now out, and people will see it. And when they do see it, they'll probably go, oh my gosh, this is amazing stuff. Bravo. This is great. So, to everybody, please support this film. Go ahead and watch it. If you can just stream it on Tubi television. If you want to watch it from there or Reveal, go right ahead. For those that can buy it on Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime is worldwide apparently, especially on Amazon Prime Video. Please invest in our film. Go ahead and buy it. Watch it. Show that love and support. We definitely do appreciate it. But that's all I got to say. I'm just really glad that, this episode is now going to be out in the open, and everybody now knows about, Miscalculated and where to go and so forth, and, how to purchase it and where to purchase it. So, yeah, it's great. To end this, find your boy on Facebook. I'll be under the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. If you just type down under the search box and hit enter, and I'll be there. Please follow me there. I'm also on 2 social media platforms, and Instagram and on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can find me at TKHPC Experience, all in one word. Lowercase letters. You don't have to skip or anything. There's no punctuations. It's just that if you follow me, I will follow you back. We are on 5 podcasting platforms such as Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Please like this podcast and subscribe to this podcast on all of those platforms. Also, do me a huge favor. Please give me a 5-star review if you're on Spotify, and if you're on Apple Podcasts, please give me a 5-star ranking and a great positive written review. The more times that you do that for either or podcasting platform, then the podcast will actually go to the front of the class. people will actually notice it, and they'll go ahead and, just start hearing it because of the hype that was built up behind it and the genuine, general interest that was built up to it. So please, like this podcast, subscribe to it. Please tell your friends on all your social media platforms, no matter if it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or Snapchat or whatever. Please let them know, or let them know via, in real life, word of mouth. That's always a classic way of telling people about what's going on and what's hot and everything. I definitely do believe that, sharing is caring, and the more times people share the information by any and every means, then it's just one step closer to the goal. You know what I mean? Last but not least, if you want to be a special guest host, and or if you have any constructive criticism, or if you have something that you want to talk about and say whether if it was good or not, please email me at thekimhoangpodcastexperience@gmail.com. Whatever the subject is, please enter it in that subject box, and then in the body of the email, please let me know what's going on. Email me your thoughts, or what the purpose that you have going on, what as it pertains to my podcast show and myself, and I'll get back to you. I'll read it, I'll correspond within 24 hours, and that is what it is. You know what I mean? So guys, I want to thank you so much for your time, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. For those that show love, that has subscribed to this podcast, that has said great things about it, I can't thank you enough. Like I always say, I always do it for you guys as much as it is for me and for my creative medium and how I want to be proactive. I do it for y'all as well. Please take care of yourselves. Please be safe, because it doesn't do me any good if you do something unsafe that will harm you and will actually let you go into a pine box, lead you into a pine box where you go under 6 feet. It's not what I want out of you guys. I want you guys to be safe. I want you guys to be happy. I want you to be loving life and appreciating life. Why? Because you deserve it. We all deserve it. We all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to, live life drama-free. We do deserve just to really enjoy what this life has provided for us, and what is, what has it done for us, and what it's given us. You know what I mean? So that's the whole nine. But I got to get out of here, guys. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. God bless y'all. We're going to do it again, for sure. So, don't think that I'm retired, or I'm never going to go anywhere, or, this is the last one, because, as long as I'm still breathing and I'm still waking up and I'm still moving around and I'm still out there, collecting motivation, this podcast is always going to keep going, no matter what. But guys, it's been real. I'll talk to y'all. God bless y'all. Love y'all. And we'll talk again soon. It's been good, guys. But I got to roll. Peace.